Welcome to using the new MOCO, an instructional video. Now first things first, you're going to have to put it into place and lock it down. Remember to drop a sandbag on that bad boy. Alright, now we're going to remove the foam covers and expose those shiny metal rails. Next, we want to get the WD-40 and spray it into a cloth of some sort and start wiping down those shiny rails to keep them nice and shiny. We're doing this to keep the rails clean. We don't want to get dirt and grime all geared up in the gears, and then that ain't no good for nobody. So this is what we do first. Alright. Next we want to rotate into our 0 position, our main configuration point. That's our starting point for when we're working. Now be certain all power is off whenever hand rotating any of the motors. Here's our 0 point for the truck axes on the side, also indicated here at the base of the truck motor. We've got another one here on the lift, this 0 point, and I'll show you how to get to this one a little later. But this is right where we want it. We want to line up with that mark. Next we want to get 0 for our tilt, keep our camera level. We can line up those marker marks by using the inch knob located right there. Next, let's set our 0 point for pan, or the rotation of the camera from left to right. The indicator for pan 0 is going to be that yellow sticker right there. We can navigate to 0 using the inch knob located above. Let's set 0 for focus. The way we want to do this is find the extreme distance focus point and then find the extreme close-up focus point. The 0 for focus will actually be right in the middle. Then we can lower the focus gear and tighten it into place. Keep in mind we can also mount that focus gear down here on the bottom in case we've got a very long lens or we'd like to get very close to our subject. Next we've got the power cable, and here we've got the power switch. We want to plug in that power cable. Alright. Then we want to plug in the 2 USB ports. One for the MOCO itself and the second for the camera. Go ahead and switch that baby on once everything's plugged in. Fans are going. Now let's start up Dragonframe 4. Go ahead and we'll create a new scene, title the scene whichever you wish, and we'll want to go ahead and save it to the scratch drive. Now we're going to get this connection window that comes up. If everything's plugged in, everything should be connected right off the bat. We want to be sure that this is checked on. If it is off, go ahead and check it on. Now if it was disconnected, you'd want to select the DF MOCO Arduino, ARC MOCO number 1, and the Arduino Mega selection, and then connect. Now if you ever need to locate connections, it's going to be under Scene Connections right at the top. Next, we want to open up the ARC Motion Control window in the upper right, then go down to the lower left where we can go ahead and import our ARC access setup. We're going to want to select the CalArts MOCO preset. Now we've got our 5 accesses loaded right here in Dragonframe. Let's go ahead and we're going to set our 0 for lift. Now let's go ahead and turn off the limits. Usually we don't want to worry about any of this in this window, but for now we're going to turn off these limits so that we can get our 0 point for lift. Now we click on the keypad icon here, and then we can start controlling the motion control unit with our Dragonframe keypad. We can cycle through just like this young gentleman here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the different axes of movement. Now, what you can also do, for now we're going to select lift. We're going to use the plus and minus keys on the keypad to fine-tune that lift to line up for our 0 point. Almost. There we go. Now there's a second place to verify our 0 point for the lift, and that will be at the base of the long worm gear, where you see that yellow tick mark. When we're not using the keypad, we can click off to the side in the emptiness here to get back to our control window here. So now we're going to turn those soft limits back on so that we don't have the motor flying off the tracks. So a few things worth noting. Now we can actually select this menu to set our 0 point once everything is lined up. But since we've sort of set everything before, everything is on 0. So we're actually just fine. But if we ever needed to, this is where we'd set that point. Now in addition to setting a 0 point, you can set a home point. Home points allows you to set a temporary position, somewhere you'd like to quickly be able to get the camera back to. Here the CTI, or the current time indicator, lets us navigate through frames on the timeline. These arrows down here allow us to adjust the movement of axes. These here allow us to actually set our keyframes in time. Over here to the right is actually setting the ease in and ease out, how smooth we want the motion. These buttons toggle video on and off so we can see what we're doing. This icon will move the motors to the current keyframe. And then once you've got your whole move all set up, you'll want to click this icon to lock the move into place to start shooting. There she goes, a thing of beauty. But I will say, you want to keep an eye on this baby, and keep your finger on the escape key. In case something starts to go wrong, you can go ahead and tap that escape key to stop the camera in its tracks. Now when you're completed using the MOCO and you're all finished, we want to go ahead and we want to put it back in its place. The way we want to do that is by rotating the truck motor the same way we rotated it to get it into its 0 position. Remember, you can only hand rotate those motors when the power is off. We want to go ahead and rotate that back to expose the rails and put those nice rail covers back on. Now it's question time with Johnny Boy.
Well, great, I understand everything, but how do you make it move?
Oh, Johnny, the way we make it move is by setting those keyframes in Dragonframe, and then the camera will move. Also remember that icon to the lower right, which will move the motors to the current keyframe.
Why do we have to clean the tracks?
Well, Johnny, we gotta clean those tracks because we don't want dirt and grime to build up on the internals of the machine. The gears can get very dirty, and that can become quite costly. So be sure to clean off the rails before any usage of the device.
What's the difference between home and 0? And why should I care?
0 point is our main configuration point, our starting point. Whereas home is like a temporary parking spot, somewhere we'd like to set to be able to get to quickly here and there.
I understand the focus, but how do I get the proper focus range?
Focus can be quite the conundrum, Johnny. So what you want to do is on your first shot, make sure that the lens that you're using can get in focus from the first position. Then what we want to do is move the camera into its resting place or its final position and set the focus there. If we've got our focus in focus at the end of our shot and we've got our focus in focus at the beginning of our shot, that's how we can know that we are within proper focus range. If you just can't seem to get focus just right, you'll want to switch to a different lens. Keep in mind, when setting up keyframes for focus, you'll be setting a lot of them. Focus is a little tricky, and it changes depending on how close or how far away you are from a subject. So go a few frames, 2 or 3, and just verify that focus is looking right before you commit to your final shot.
Why should I keep my eyes on the rig at all times while it's moving?
You'll want to keep an eye on this heavy piece of machinery because it can cause damage. It can cause damage to the device itself, and it can cause damage to your set or a finger if you're not careful. So you want to be certain that cables aren't getting tightened too tightly, and you also want to make sure that you're not about to crash into your set. So keep that finger on the escape key, and if something just is about to go bad, well, then go ahead and stop the MOCO.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is really great. Yeah, I'm gonna go out and tell my friends. Yeah, oh.